right, Jonathan, as an intermediate caster, we want to talk about the things that need to change in our cast when we're going from 30 to 50 feet. And the question is, why would you want to go from 30 to 50 feet? Well, let's say you have your line on the water at 30 feet, and all of a sudden you see a trout rise at 50 feet. Now you are highly motivated to go from 30 to 50 feet. Now there are some essentials that we've already talked about in previous lessons that I just want to remind you about, and that is when we start our cast, we want the rod tip down, we want the slack out of the system. That's one. The other is that we want that rod to travel in a straight line rod tip path. And as you'll remember, it's a smooth acceleration to a crisp stop. So the rod tip goes in a straight line. Okay? Now, there are three essentials that we want to add to that we're going to talk about right now. And the first is the casting arc. The casting arc at 30 feet is smaller than the casting arc at 50 feet. And the principle here is the shorter the line, the shorter the arc. The longer the line, the longer the arc. Now the other thing that we try to do in this is what we call increasing the casting stroke. So the cast, and this is a nice to have, not a need to have. And the reason we do it is to help smooth out the cast. And the casting stroke refers to, first of all, the stroke is the motion sufficient to create a loop, along with rotation, where we bend the fly rod. And in this case, the stroke length increases, which is the hand movement. And the term for that is translation, or the hand movement without rotating. So stroke length, translation, and then rotation. All right. So the second thing is that we need to adjust the pause. Why? Well, because the shorter the line, the shorter the pause. And obviously we don't need as much time for the line to unfurl both in back and in front. But as we increase the arc, we do need to increase the time to allow that line to unfurl. So, essential principle. The shorter the line, the shorter the pause. The longer the line, the longer the pause. Okay? Now, the last thing that is essential to moving from 30 to 50 feet is we need to increase the force. So it makes sense, doesn't it, that if we've got a short line out for 30 feet, we're not going to use as much power, acceleration, velocity as we would at 50 feet. So what I would like to do now is I would like to demonstrate going from 30 to 50 feet. I won't use the haul because I want you to focus on the mechanics. And I want you to start with your hands up in the V once I get the 30-foot cast going, and then I want you to see what happens to that V or piece of the pie. I also want you to watch how long I pause and going from 30 to 50 feet. And then finally, I want you to watch my body and how I increase the force going from 30 to 50 feet. So here's the demo. Okay, we'll start with 30 feet. Now measure my casting arc. Right, now, how's the timing? Right. And I notice my body motion is really pretty minimal. Now I'm going to go to 50 feet by slipping lines. What happens to the arc?
Gets bigger.
Exactly. It gets bigger. What about the pause?
Gets longer.
What about the power? How's my
More.
Power? More better. Exactly. So, let's review the principles here. that is, we want to take the slack out of the system. We want to make sure that our rod tip is going in a straight line path. We want our casting arc to open when going from 30 to 50 feet. We want our pause to lengthen when we go from 30 to 50 feet. And we want to increase the amount of muscle or power when going from 30 to 50 feet. Thank you.